China has responded forcefully to international criticism of the new controversial security law, which gives Beijing more control over Hong Kong. Beijing has told several countries that have condemned the new law to stop interfering in Hong Kong affairs. And they said that they will retaliate to the UK government's decision to offer a path to British citizenship for up to 3 million Hong Kongers.
The British side neglects China's solemn stance and insists on changing the policy to provide a path for those people to stay and get citizenship in the UK, which seriously violates their promise. The Chinese side strongly condemns this and reserves the right to make further responses. All consequences will be borne by the British side.
You said the same thing in May, I think, that China would potentially respond. What will be the point at which China will actually act?
Please wait patiently. Now is not the time yet.
Well, that was the BBC's Steve McDonald doing the questioning there, and here is his analysis of Beijing's answer.
One thing people have been asking is, why doesn't the Chinese government just say, all right, if you want to leave, leave? Think of all the troublemakers it could get rid of in this way. But this isn't really how the Chinese government rolls. I mean, Chinese nationality, it's a blood thing. And all of those residents of Hong Kong, they're inextricably linked to the mainland, to the motherland, whether they like it or not. And so the idea of letting people just go because they don't like how things are going doesn't appeal. And yet I think behind closed doors there would be some who are just thinking, you know, we've been trying to work out how to control that rebellious city for a long time anyway. I mean, one way they've been trying to think of is ways to build flats to allow more mainlanders to move in there who might be more loyal to Beijing.
Well, Steve McDonald reporting there, but despite the threats from Beijing, Australia has also said they are considering a similar move to that of the UK, offering a safe haven for anyone wishing to leave Hong Kong. A move that further escalates already tense relations between the two nations over coronavirus and China's alleged political interference in Australian politics. And in the United States, the Senate and the House of Representatives voted unanimously to approve new Hong Kong-related sanctions, those that penalise banks that do business with Chinese officials. The legislation has been sent to President Trump for final approval. Here's the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
When Beijing announced its intention to pass the so-called national security law, we were concerned. It was frightening. It is nothing short of an all-out effort to negate the rights of the people of Hong Kong in violation of the agreements made under the one country, two systems. We were concerned of what it might be, and it exceeds even those horrors. The law is a brutal, sweeping crackdown against the people of Hong Kong intended to destroy the freedoms they were promised.
Nancy Pelosi was speaking there at a US congressional hearing on Hong Kong, where they heard from a number of pro-democracy activists, including one prominent movement leader, Nathan Law, who has already fled Hong Kong. He's a former pro-democracy politician who was previously jailed for his role in the 2014 Umbrella Movement protests. He told the hearing that he had to leave the territory because he was worried about returning for fear of being imprisoned again under the new law.
Through fear, intimidation, and heavy-handed governance, Beijing turns Hong Kong into just another Chinese city while trying to keep its outer shell. In doing so, it hopes to preserve the illusion that the city is still autonomous. The international community must not be confused. Carrie Lam and her entire cabinet are puppets who have no power to make meaningful decisions. The high degree of autonomy once promised is just another blatant lie.
Nathan Law there. But it's important to point out that not everyone has been as critical of China. Earlier this week, Cuba welcomed the new security law at the United Nations on behalf of over 50 countries, warning against interfering in the affairs of other countries.
We believe that every country has a right to safeguard its national security through the legislation and commend relevant steps taken for this purpose. In this context, we welcome the adoption of the law of the People's Republic of China on safeguarding national security in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, as well as China's reaffirmation of adherence to one country, two systems guideline.
One group which is opposed to the new law is Democracy for Hong Kong. Their aim is to unite people in the United Kingdom who are concerned about Hong Kong politics. But while they welcome the UK citizenship offer, a spokesperson for the group who didn't want to be identified, we've called him Ben, told the BBC that the UK and other nations can do much more to help.
There will be quite a lot of people in Hong Kong considering moving to UK, but that a lot of Hong Kong are willing to go to prison instead of going to UK. I mean, we have always been asking for a Magnitsky-style sanctions to officials in position in Hong Kong or in China who are responsible for legislature to restrict the human rights and freedoms of Hong Kong people. And that's one thing that UK could do, and in coordinate with other countries as well. And also, the extended lifeboat strategy, and also any future trade deal with China or Hong Kong, they should consider take the human rights situation into consideration as well.